Oh, due diligence is a much abused term. Due diligence, very broadly speaking, means that from the time when you engage in a particular franchise, so you've done some basic homework, you've had a look at your goals, you've had a look at a particular franchise group, and you think this might be the one. So there's initial due diligence between there and signing your contract, where you can get in, ask questions, dig around, go and do your secret shopper, maybe go and spend a day with an area master trundling around. There are lots of things that you can do to get a look at the franchisor at work and get a look at the franchisee's operation without actually signing a contract. But once you sign a contract, there is a period, usually 21 days. Sometimes they try and press you into 14, but 21 days is about the minimum that you should have. During that 21 days, they might call it finance, but often there'll be a due diligence clause in your contract. What that due diligence period is your opportunity to call for anything that you think might influence your decision. There's legal due diligence. We do a whole raft of searches for you to make sure that, firstly, if you're buying an existing territory, that the franchisee can sell it to you. He's not bankrupt, he's not under some kind of disability, the company isn't in some kind of external administration. You'd be surprised how often people will try and sell stuff that isn't theirs. Is the equipment encumbered? Is there a bill of sale over the goodwill of the business? Is the landlord happy to assign the lease to you? There's a whole range of things that we'll do inside that due diligence period. Your accountant will do an accounting due diligence, and there are about 50 things that your accountant will look at or should look at. There's a whole range of things that you can do designed to dig around on a day-to-day basis to look at whether there are key employees that will need to be retained and whether they're happy to stay. To look at what's the situation with stock, how old is it, how much is it, how much of it is there, is it saleable, is there a whole range of lines that have been sitting there for a year. All of those things fit broadly under the umbrella of due diligence, and there are dozens more. So due diligence is just essentially that period when you get to dig, and there will be a date in your contract by which you have to say, yes, I'm happy, I'm prepared to go ahead with this, or no, I'm not satisfied, I want an extension of that time, so I want more time to make that decision, or I'm not satisfied and I want out, give me back my deposit, tear up the contract, I want to go back to square one. It's quite common, particularly now with financiers behaving the way that they are, for contracts to be terminated and for the parties to go back and start the process again, with the client ultimately buying the same business, perhaps on different terms or for a different price, based upon something that they found in the due diligence period. For example, recently a client of ours bought a franchised food outlet and discovered, despite what the outgoing franchisee had told her, that the equipment was not unencumbered. The equipment was in fact covered by a chattel lease, and that chattel lease had to be cleared. Well, that contract got knocked on the head and we did a new one. So it's not uncommon to stop and start again, and you shouldn't see terminating the contract as necessarily the end of the process. Sometimes you might wind up with a better deal.